All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Monday, this Tuesday, might I say, October 10th, catching myself quick. I believe I'm good to go for my COVID/strep, but I'm still losing track of my weekdays. Great to have all of us back collectively, though, inside our live trading room. We had Brad, Kathleen, Michael just before, Chuck as well, Sid, Sam, and a few more of us. We had Art just before as well, and Glenn just before I saw a moment ago, Leda loud and clear from her. All right, so we are good to go inside our live trading room. Good to be back on social media once again, coming off the Traders Talk workshop we conducted earlier this morning. If you had missed out on our live workshop, it's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingyou. But otherwise though, hey, we've had a pretty strong market open, strong morning, but markets cooled off a little bit. SPY pulled back, and a couple of shorts actually heading into this time of the day, but Weight Watchers, hey, don't tell that to Weight Watchers here. Once again, making a strong push, but this time finally breaking above big resistance that we had dating back to like a month or two ago, maybe even more, like historical level that we had, like 1206, 1210-ish price. Yesterday we were seeing it kind of poke back up there once again, but it once again held as resistance, came back down. That was pretty much this time of the day, yesterday afternoon. So this morning, actually, we weren't really as much focused on it this morning, to be transparent with you. We did really well on a bunch of other trades, IONQ, PLTR, AMD, the list goes on. But this was a really strong push after the open. Hey, if you listened to our advice that probably we should have taken more seriously ourselves from this morning, as far as keeping this on your side list, hey, what if this breaks above this resistance? It ended up leading to a hell of a move, right? So there was a lot of action out there earlier today. You can't catch them all, can't watch them all even. So with that in mind, nice push on Weight Watchers. There's still a lot more action seemingly here heading into this time of the day right now. Breaking a new high just before and pulling back a little bit here, but still looking very strong. Weight Watchers. We're going to put this on our watch list for sure here heading into the afternoon. All right, so I got a nice apartment here, right? A nice big apartment, big home office. Actually, I've sectored off. Beautiful. Got a nice little fight with my leasing officer I got to take care of by the end of the day. So let's try and go through from top to bottom here. Let's be quick and see what we could muster up for our afternoon watch list here. We've had a great morning thus far, but I guess I got to wage a little war this afternoon. Not really excited for that. So let's see what we can grab here for you folks. SMX pushing back up right now. Kathleen did call this out just before this meeting started. Listen, this thing was so choppy earlier today. This was like a nightmare. And I only say that as an observer. I didn't trade this thing. I just saw it choppy in pre-market. I'm always hopeful for better move, a nice breakout after the open, but oftentimes we'll tend to see the same characteristics after the open as we do in pre-market. So that's where, at least earlier this morning, I was looking at my AMD. It was pushing up pretty nicely in pre-market. It led to a nice move after the open. This was choppy in pre-market most of the way through, outside of the first pop. Well, after the open, it remained choppy. It led to a huge head fake, came back down. But, right now, it's made a little bit of a bounce here so far, 250, nearly up to 3. So, what? I'll come back to this trade if I need to. I'll put this on our side list, though, so far, the SMX. Keep it going here. A couple cheapy stocks in between. We got SPCB. I guess it's close to $1. I haven't even looked at this graph yet until right now. Pushed up pretty nicely, might I say, from the morning session. So if you were following this, you could have ended up a big winner, right? Just right now, it looks a little exhausted, so I'll pass on it here. INO pharmaceutical company. We've done really well on the stock back in the beginning of the pandemic, back in March of 20. And, one of those vaccine companies or antibody testing companies at the time. There was a whole litany of different trades back then, right? I could rattle them off to you, actually, if you wanted to. That time, we have CODX, we have VXRT, we had the INO trade before. Obviously, we have our mainstays like Moderna, NVAX, a few more. We had OCGN, Ocugen, if you remember that. So don't ask me how I remember all this. Don't really have much going on outside of CTU. No. But seriously, like with INO, though, it's pushing up really nicely right now across the afternoon session. It's just that it's not really like our normal style stock that we trade, not really close to $1. So, if you're in it, I'm rooting you on. I'm going to pass on it, though, here for us. INTZ, that's not a vaccine stock. We'll pass on that either way. PWM. It'll move up right now, but the order book is really thin here. I'm going to pass on it just because the order book. Now we'll kind of just skim through. Hey, today I learned what a Tupperware party was, right? The more you know. Ended up seeing a nice little pop on Tupperware today from 120 up to 165 nearly. But again, the stock has been a pop and drop stock for us in the past, much like my good friend AMC. Actually, AMC moving back on up right now. Actually, over my level here, 1018. It's luring me back in once more. Well, this is actually making a much better afternoon pop or bounce right now compared to the others. But, the same is to be said. AMC has been and was a pop and drop stock from this morning. Listen, coming off a reverse stock split, that was one of our focal points in Traders Talk. You're going to tend to see a small intraday squeeze, but they always come back down. They typically break lower. So on AMC, we're going to see that happen over time. It happened already in the morning. This could still be a lower high, and it snaps back down. I do like this little afternoon trend back up, though, right? It's tradable. It keeps us lured in. You know what? I'm going to put this on our side list. It's going to join the SMX on the side list for right now. We only got Weight Watchers on the main list so far, but we'll come back to it. And Jinko Solar, put really nice push up right now. Anytime I see the stock on the gainers list, it typically has a good trend to it. So not too surprised it's at the highs right now. And the only issue I have on this trade, it's like really trading little volume per minute, only 640,000 shares total on the whole day. That's actually a lot less compared to its average. It trades about like nearly 1 million on average. So it's getting there, but we've honestly seen it trade better volume. It's kind of detracting me from that trade. Sunrun, run right here. It's like flat right now. Nice pop from the morning session. Plug's trading more volume per minute, but it's still pretty slow. It's at the highs, and for that reason, I don't mind slipping it on the main one. It's just low risk. Unless if you don't set a stop and like a really bad with risk management, you really can't see a mess up too badly on this type of trade. It's slow. Maybe at worst you lose like 5-6 cents at most. But hey, we'll see if that breaks higher. Blink back up once again. It dropped off a little bit from the last time we caught up with this stock. It broke lower at the time too. So I was saying, like, for a little while, this stock, much like some of the other EV plays like ChargePoint, you could even say stocks like Plug and Run, like more of the energy companies out there too. You're going to tend to see a nice short squeeze on them over time from time to time. And Blink being one of the EV charging companies from back in the day, this stock made a big run for us back then. And, dumped off quite a bit since. So given how much it dumped off, you don't want to hold your breath waiting for that next big short squeeze because you're going to probably hold your breath way too long. So, right now, Blink, it's up big today. It's up over 11% at the intraday highs, right where we want to see it at this time. Has a good book, needs to trade a little bit more volume coming up here, but I like it. We'll see if this goes higher. Big lots here, BIG, not much happening. All right, so hey, let me know if there's anything else looking good on the way up. We're going to take a look at the losers list here. Actually, I'll tell you what. There's one stock I did not check in with as my scanner refreshed. We'll check out the Mob trade. So Mob, before I said in the chat board, I wrote before this meeting started, it's slow and it's just kind of moseying on up. It's moving on up off the lows. Since that time, well, no surprise. It kind of held a resistance, pulled back a bit. It's not going much of anywhere right now. So I'm going to scrap that Mob trade at this point. All right, so we'll hop over to the loser side here. Got a long day of talking, a long morning. I got to refill up on water here coming up. Got to wage a small war with my leasing office coming up to my apartment complex. So need to stay hydrated. Let's see what we can grab here, though, on the losers list here, especially if the markets do slip and pull back a bit. Wouldn't shock me. I mean, we exploded out the gate yesterday and then today even furthermore. So see a little bit of a lower low. Wouldn't shock me heading into this afternoon, but then maybe a bounce back up tomorrow. UVXY, if the markets do pull back, perhaps that gets a small pop, but it's been very choppy after the initial bounce here. So I'm not fully committed to these like ETFs right now. I'll tell you, there's a whole bunch of garbage on the loser side here, folks. No real like name brand companies out there, down big or shortable. If there's anything else looking good, type it in the chat board. Definitely let me know. From Trini on YouTube asking, Josh, you didn't know what a Tupperware party is? I'll tell you what, I had no idea, Trinia. I would have figured Robin would have taught me that a little while back. So I'd actually text my parents, be like, hey, what's a Tupperware party? What is this? And they were even asking me, like, why are you asking? Like, how did that even come up in conversation? Like, it's a long story. Fausto and Tupperware stock. All right. So a couple things in the chat board here. Michael saying SYM up again today. But hey, the more you know, right? So yeah, if you're looking at it as a swing, maybe it's just a slow stock though for $39, $40. Not going to day trade it really. I'm going to skip Don's just for a second. Don, I'll get to you at the end. Mark saying, any thoughts on EBIX for a potential short? Things like it below $1, isn't it? I could be thinking of a different trade there. Oh, I'm thinking of EBET, Mark. I'm looking at EBET on the gainer side. There we go. So Mark's thinking EBIX. Sometimes you're around the block one too often. You slip up every now and then, Mark. Trader's dyslexia, right? AMC, AMD, EBET, EBIX. All right, so Mark asking about the EBIX trade. It is hard to borrow on TradeStation, but as far as if you're able to get the shares, if you already have them, if you're already short, I'm rooting you on. Mark knows his shorts. So, he's just getting a second opinion, but he's definitely good with his shorts. And, it wouldn't shock me if this keeps dropping off right now. Maybe a lower high just building here off 680, 675. All right, from Don. Has there been any significant news from Biden concerning Israel? I know that we will likely send ammo and missiles. Hopefully no troops will be needed. So as far as like what will happen in regards to the market with that, I want to bring it back to the conversation that we had back in Traders Talk. Hey, you might think one way about what the market will do, but clearly we've been pretty surprised over the last day and a half. The immediate reaction has been a very sharp move up since directly the news has come out with between Israel and Hamas, just everything happening, not even news, just the tragic event happening there. So it's to say, at least we're going to keep our ear to the ground. We're going to make sure that we at least, have our TV on, have our, news networks on, just in case if there's anything happening intraday. But it's kind of taking it day by day, Don. I haven't heard anything in particular. We haven't seen too big of a reaction otherwise. I know that we have the PPI report coming out tomorrow. That's not really relating as much to Israel per se, but maybe a sharper reaction out of that in lieu of information coming out in the near future. Maybe someone knows something and you perhaps will see that coming out tomorrow off that PPI report. And then you got the CPI report the following day. So there's a couple of big market events that will happen too that we need to keep our eyes out for, if anything, just to see what happens. Michael saying AI off the highs, but still up 8+%. We like 8+%. We like 8+%, Mike. This looks like a really good long trade heading into the close. Yeah, this could really do some good damage on the way up. I like it. So it's actually a really good call. I'm going to put this on our watch list. Good long. See if this could break higher, but I don't know if the other AI stocks are moving here at the time. We'll take a look at IDAI. SOUN, BBAI, not much happening there on those. All right, so it seems to just be that one stock. AI will take it. I'm just looking at the other side list stocks that we got, like Carvana going nowhere. Roblox, we were hopeful to see pop higher, but hasn't just yet. We'll pass on that for right now. Palantir just dried up. Not much happening right now after the last couple of days. IONQ, I think that there's some hope for. I think that there's some good hope for that. There's not much resistance at 16, or at least the last time I checked, like on level 3, there's nothing showing. It's been bouncing back up pretty nicely across the early to mid-afternoon. Yeah, I'm going to slip this one on our watch list here too, the AI trade. Don saying SLI moving up, but questionable volume. Yeah, questionable volume is definitely a good shout, good spread, but this is where we could at least kind of consolidate the watch list and prioritize one over another, tomato. There's going to be plenty of other trades that might look good out there that I don't put on the watch list. If you do well on that stock day over day or week over week, and you know what I mean when I say that, right? Like we all know what I mean when I say that. really, like day over day, week over week. If you do well, then stick with it. Like for instance, I am certain, I'm going to guarantee it, Chuck, that Chuck is going to be on his Roblox. He does well on Roblox. If he makes a pot, which we are hopeful to see it do earlier, I'm sure he's going to kill it. But right now, I'm not going to put it on the main list. So if there is something that is looking, good and you're a fan of it, keep it to yourself, stick with it, rooting you on. But right now, I like what we got here so far from this list. We got Weight Watchers, Plug, Blink, AI, got the IO and Q, and we got two more I said I'd go back to, actually. SMX, it's going to be a little choppy again. And then that darn AMC trade, right? I'm not fully jumpy towards it just yet. It pulled back under that 1018 level I have on my chart. So, that's kind of the driving point there for right now. If it can get back over it, maybe. But again, I'm going to keep this on the side. All right, folks. So, hey, let me know if there's anything else looking good, up, down, left, right, more than 5%, but we will otherwise call it. And for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, hey, appreciate you folks each and every day, each and every afternoon. If you have any other questions, feel free to shoot me over a quick email, josh@ctutrading.com. If you wanted to continue the conversation inside our live trading room, just scan that QR code that is not showing up there. Let me get that QR code up. I thought I had that from the get-go. There we go. Boom. Get that QR code up right there. Scan it with your phone. Get you access to our live trading room for the entire week coming up. Join our instructors like Rich, myself, and of course the man himself, Fausto, and our students just inside our chat board. We look forward to having you there. But for all of them there right now, like Mark, Michael, Grant, Don, and Kathleen, Leda, and all of us just there right now. Rich will be on the mic coming up in about 10-15 minutes. I will be in the chat board intermittently. I got to just take care of a little something here coming up. But, hey, if I don't catch you before the end of the day, best of luck trading going into the market close, and we'll catch back with everyone at least going into tomorrow morning. Take care.